why can they rise in these moments, but they don't necessarily do it all game long?
I think it's specific guys. I mean, how often are we talking about Garland right now making an incredible play below the red line, below the goal line, with an incredible pass out front? I mean, 2 goals tonight where, the first goal was him on the forecheck again, working hard along the boards there. I don't know how he didn't get an assist on the first goal. And then there on the last goal there, finding Suter just with the beautiful no-look spin pass. Like, the guy has been our best player this season, and game after game, he seems to fight and give us that chance to win. And obviously Lankinen as well. Another very strong effort, still undefeated in regulation time. So he moves to 5-0-2, which is huge for us. And holy moly, finally DeBrusk gets a goal.
Gets a gorilla off his back. He looked very relieved after that one.
Like, I still am not a huge fan of the DeBrusk signing. I think I was pretty upset on July 1st when we went after him instead of someone like Jonathan Marchessault, who was available, who is a proven winner as well. I did a couple comparisons there in the third period before DeBrusk had scored, and DeBrusk was given $5.5 million for 7 years, and in 7 seasons, he's only scored 20 goals. He's only reached 20 goals 3 times, and he has never played a full 82 games in a season.
Injury prone.
In comparison, Marchessault, who signed in Nashville for 5.5 and 5 years. Has 30 goals 3 times, 20 goals 4 other times, is coming off a 42-goal season, and has a Stanley Cup. So, it's frustrating waiting for DeBrusk to get going. But I just don't think that he was the offensive savior that we needed in the offseason.
Well, the one thing I'd say with DeBrusk is he is historically a very streaky goal scorer.
Yes, exactly.
So he scores in bunches. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see through the month of November, he actually ends up putting some pucks in the net and getting the fans off his back. But I mean, we really haven't even been on DeBrusk's back. The entire Canucks roster should be happy that Elias Pettersson is getting all the heat, because there are a lot of guys on this team that could be taking the heat. If anything, Petey is doing his part by being the scapegoat right now. But DeBrusk too, did you see the stat? He didn't score his first goal of the year until November 2nd last year. And he does the same
notoriously slow starter. Hopefully he can generate more offense than he has ever in his career, and maybe get on a streak here. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice for sure.
Speaking of Pettersson,
crap. Go ahead about Pettersson.
Did you feel like his game stepped up a bit? I felt like he was trying to be physical. I felt like he was out there trying to make things happen. I didn't feel like he was a liability out there, and I think he was taking some shots. I feel like maybe it was a step in the right direction, but didn't get any points.
Yeah, a step in the right direction for sure. But holy crap, did the wires still get crossed there on that 2-on-1 with Miller? Like, he just brain shut off. He didn't get a shot, didn't get a pass. He looked like someone who has no confidence and didn't know what to do. And we got to get him out of that funk for sure. And I don't know what the answer is. And hopefully, we need Joshua back to just give us options to kind of change the lineup a bit. We don't really have any juggling we can do. And I mean, boy, did we get lucky in this game. Myers there in no man's land on that tying goal. If you're going to block the shot, but don't make a door for your goaltender. Lankinen didn't stand a chance on that one. He had a big old Myers booty right in his eye line.
It's about as big as they come. I think the other guy that had a really good night for the Canucks was Quinn Hughes, because you saw him driving the play and you saw him carrying the puck And I think you've been seeing him do this a lot more where he's actually driving to the net, getting shots. I think we saw a couple of those. Did you feel the same way about Hughes' play tonight?
Yeah, he had a huge bounce back game and he needed it. He had a probably one of his worst games in a long time against New Jersey. Caught out of position a couple times, and then he was trying to force the play a little too much. And I think early this season, Quinn's been guilty of that,
Mm-hmm.
trying to force it a little too much. Tonight looked a little smoother. He dumped it off a little quicker and found outlets faster.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, is it nice to watch him skate with the puck. The way he can move around the zone and break ankles and create other space for other players.
I mean, it's pretty mean of an American to be breaking people's ankles when they don't even have free healthcare down there, too, right?
No kidding.
I mean, Lankinen, you mentioned him a little bit, but this game is not even close if he doesn't make a lot of those acrobatic saves that he did make tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Through traffic, a couple of nice kick saves. He is giving us confidence to win for sure, or finding ways to win. And when we're struggling a bit to find our game offensively, you need that from your goalie. So huge stuff from Lankinen.
Well, it's interesting too because a stat that I didn't expect that they brought up in the broadcast was that when San Jose has scored the first goal this season so far, they actually hadn't lost a game in regulation. They'd won 2 games and they'd lost 2 games in extra time. So this is actually San Jose's first regulation loss, despite the fact that they started with an 0-7-2. They were on a 3-game winning streak. So it's not like the Canucks are seeing the same team that they beat 10-1 last year. It probably does feel good to take a team and put them back in the loss column, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, San Jose was the longest winning streak, active winning streak in the NHL coming into this game, so they were the hottest team in the league. And the Canucks played a very tight game defensively. The first goal that got scored it was just looked like a bit of miscommunication with Brandstrom and Forbert. I mean, Forbert comes into the game, hasn't played in a while, and it forced Brandstrom into his offhand side there
Mm-hmm.
on that goal, and so you can see they kind of got their wires crossed in front of the net a bit if you watch the replay. And that led to the weak attempt to get around to Bluger, and then Bluger as well with a real weak attempt to get it up the wall. So that play was just a breakdown all around. And but overall, in comparison to the New Jersey game, far fewer dangerous chances. Everything pretty much kept to the outside until that tying goal right to the end there, and yeah, that was pretty much the only big mistake made from after that. And it looked a little scary there with the refs. They decided to call nothing for most of the game and then call some fluffers in the third there. So
They were getting bored.
I guess.
It's one of those things. If you don't make your quota, you don't get the same quota, right? So they got to make sure they call a couple penalties because they don't want to look like they're not doing anything out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's a good sign too. We've been talking so far, and we haven't even mentioned the guy who's got 2 goals tonight, Pius Suter. Starts off the game with a great chance, gets blocked. And I don't know what it is with this guy. It seems like when he gets a quality chance to start, he always gets a big save on him. But the moment this guy's getting quality chances, a goal's coming. And he managed to get 2 tonight. What does that mean for a Canucks team to have a guy who's playing on your 4th line get 2 goals?
It's huge. I mean, that's what carries you through these wins. When your top guys are struggling, you need that secondary scoring. And it's very underrated tool in the NHL, to be able to have a line like that 4th line that can. I had down that they were playing really well tonight. Keeping the San Jose hemmed in their end and moving the puck around really well. So I'm not surprised actually that they were generating offense tonight. The other thing about the 4th line is they usually see the weaker defense pairings. So if you have guys that have a shot like that and are able to generate a bit of space, I mean, that will come in very handy when it comes playoff time. So it's huge to have people like Suter and that deep in your lineup.
I mean, he's a very quality player to have playing on your 4th line. And we were chatting in chat a little earlier, and everyone's talking like, you can play him on the 1st line, you can play him on the 4th line. It doesn't matter. He penalty kills. You can put him on the power play. So a very versatile. He is a Swiss Army knife, right? Like, to pun intended there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Um,
Utility player through and through.
I'm just pulling up the stats for the game here because I wanted to see. I feel like on the eye test, I felt like Forbert had a solid game. We didn't see a lot of him, but in the minutes that he did get, he seemed like, despite the fact that he's been off for most of the season, he did look a lot better than he did to start the year. Did you see the same thing as I did?
Yeah, I think so too. Also, he's playing with a much different style defensive partner than the first three games he played with. He played with Desharnais those first three games, I believe.
Right.
And so with Brandstrom frees up the puck movement, so Forbert doesn't really have to focus on going and getting the puck. He just has to focus on stuff like front of the net and taking the extra man,
Yeah.
and lets Brandstrom do the puck movement, get the puck out of the zone. So I think that really frees up his mental game to focus on something specific and not have to do too much. Whereas with Desharnais is the bigger guy. He kind of is the more physical, needs to kind of stay in front of the net, and
Mm-hmm.
that made Forbert kind of forced him to be the puck moving guy, and that's not necessarily his skill set. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why Brandstrom has been so valuable since coming up from the AHL, is that extra puck moving capability.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Forbert played 15 minutes tonight, so he actually got a little bit more than I expected. But he's also, I think he's one of those defensemen where if you don't notice him, it's probably a good thing.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
So 15 minutes played. I noticed him a couple times, and I think every time I noticed him out there, it seemed like he had been doing something good. The other thing I thought was wild about tonight's game was the lack of face-offs through the first two periods. I think there was only like 20 face-offs total between the first two periods. So the first period only took, I think it was like 35 minutes of real time, and that includes, your 4 commercial breaks. So that's 8 minutes. So I mean,
Yeah.
you looked at there was only 10 whistles in the entire first period. So this was definitely a track meet, and the Canucks held themselves in there.
Yep.
So I wanted to change gears and hope we got some more good news. Can you give me an update on the baby Canucks, who last time we checked in with you, they were up 2-0?
I can. They finished the game down in San Diego. They were able to add an empty netter late in the third. To Ratu getting his second of the game. But unfortunately, Patera lost the shutout with 53 seconds left. San Diego was able to bury one late with the 6-on-5. So that was a 3-1 final for Vancouver down in San Diego. Another very strong game from Patera. His last outing, where he started, he had a shutout. He came in last game, stopped 9 of 10, and tonight stopped 26 of 27. So really good stuff out of Patera down there in the minors. Just picking up kind of where he left off with Vegas late last year when Logan Thompson was, or not Logan Thompson, when Aiden Hill was injured. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's just, it's a good look for the Canucks goaltender depth, because you got 2 guys down there. I mean, Tolopil obviously had a hard one last game, but Patera, I think he's looked solid down there every time he's been in the net. I don't think, is there a moment you think that Patera wanted something back? But as far as I can remember, I don't think there's any moment where he looked out of place down there.
no, he had one shaky game earlier in the season, but for the most part, the last 3 games he's played, he's really solidified the mistakes he was making early, and has shown some real improvement. Um, it's quite the goaltender battle going down there. Tolopilo did have a bad game last game, but the rest of his season has been quite strong. So definitely no issues with goaltending down there. And it's really nice to see Oturatu finding a scoring touch down there as well. Get some confidence back, and if Baines starts to slip a bit with his performance in the big club and his energy level, then we have options to come up and hopefully drive some offense, which we desperately need.
Yes. I mean, we're also talking about the fact that if the Canucks power play doesn't get going, you might have Leckermacky coming up as a look, but probably some more salary cap gymnastics if they want to get that contract up here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did a quick impromptu poll in chat while we were chatting. DeBrusque or Marchessault? 65% of people saying they would prefer DeBrusque. And I think that probably comes down to the fact that he scores tonight.
A bit of he scores tonight, and a bit he is younger, right? So he does have more opportunity to have more good seasons. So there is that. But I just think proven goal scoring is pretty tough to find, and a guy coming off of 42 goals in a season, if you're going to give the same money, for me, I give it to the guy who scored 42 goals. So
yeah. So Canucks win 3-2. Baby Canucks win 3-1. So after a night where both teams lose, now they both win. So it's time to break the trend.
Exactly.
What do the Baby Canucks need to do tomorrow? Because they play again tomorrow night,
right? They should, yes.
Yeah, the back-to-back night down there in San Diego against the Gulls.
San Diego.
I'm not going to finish that quote. I don't want to get banned, you know?
Well, I mean, it's just a piece of the anatomy, but
we were having some science talk early, but it was more evolution and astrophysics, but
not biology.
Yeah, not biology. So we got Canucks got a 3-day
marine
gap
biology
now, right?
Yes, the Canucks got a bit of a break here. Little time to enjoy Southern California before they go to Anaheim on Tuesday night. What do you think we're going to see out of them in Anaheim?
Wow, yeah, the Anaheim Ducks are an absolute dumpster fire. That is the thing. And I mean, we talked about San Jose being a weak team coming to this one, but like I said, they were on a 3-game winning streak. They're not bad at keeping leads, but I feel like it should be a big win. Like the Ducks are 4-4-2, but I think that's probably a little better than they deserve so far this season. With the big win tonight, I like the grit. I like the hits. I feel like the Canucks come out on top pretty big there. And now the other thing I wanted to ask you was the Canucks schedule has been quite spread out. Like compared to the rest of their division, I think after tonight, this is their 10th game, but the majority of the people in their division so far have already played 11 or 12 games as I'm pulling it up. Yeah. Vegas is at 12, LA's at 12, Calgary and Edmonton are 11, Seattle's at 12. San Jose's now played 13 games, which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've found with the Canucks in the past, I feel like when they're playing like a game day off, that kind of like one, you can kind of get into that rhythm. Do you think moving ahead, once the Canucks start making up these games, they start playing a more regular game? Do you think that's going to improve their game?
Definitely. There has been some weird scheduling to start the season. They've been kind of here, there, a couple of weird breaks and gaps. So I think they had 4 days off at one point. So the day on, day off, I think almost every hockey player will tell you it's best to have a regular routine. They all love routine. So yeah, absolutely. We're going to probably see some back-to-backs coming up here pretty quick. But on the back end of that, it also never hurts to have games in hand against your division rivals. So
right,
it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know, it causes some issues with finding consistency. But at the end of the day, it's also valuable to have those games in hand against those other teams that you might be 1 or 2 points behind.
Yeah, and looking ahead at the schedule, like you said, you got Anaheim on Tuesday. 1 day off on Wednesday. Thursday, you got the Kings. Day off Friday. Saturday, you got the Oilers. They get another 2-day break, and then it's Calgary day off, Islanders day off, Chicago, right? So, and that's their first back-to-back, I believe, this year too. It's Chicago one night, and then the Nashville Predators the next night. So, in the month of November, they're definitely going to be making up those games in hands. And I think if anything, for a young team especially, easy to get distracted, PD playing too much Fortnite or whatever. But maybe this kind of gets them into a rhythm, and hopefully they can start putting together a win streak.
Yeah, maybe with the big win, Talk will let them go to Disneyland tomorrow or something. They can do some team bonding.
Yeah, not a bad day. A little beautiful Sunday down there in California. Hit up some rides. Could be fun.
Exactly.
Anything you want to say to the chat before I let you go, brother?
Oh, just to clarify, yes, I do have salt and pepper hair.
Yeah.
And I am just a young 37 years old. So it's nice and thick, but it is white. I saw some conversation going on earlier about it. So.
Hey, looking good for 37. I just shaved my head and my beard so you can't see the white or the gray in any of it there, you know?
Yeah,
It's a
there you
secret.
go. Yeah.
Awesome, Dustin. Great having you again. We'll chat again soon, and we'll see you on Tuesday against those filthy Ducks.
Sounds great, man.
Peace out.
Nothing is perfect.